Yep, all ticked. One more to tick. Live.
You have built a belting business at home and you want to get your business into a commercial premises and take it the next level. We're going to show you how. Stick by. We're going to talk about it.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes, episode 389. Myself, Michael Berger, Mark Novak, taking a booming business from your house where all the biggest companies in the world have started, Google, Microsoft. I'm sure there's many others. But once you've got the business booming, taking that step into a commercial property from a retail shop, a factory, office space can be very, very daunting. And you don't know where to begin because owning your own business is quite unique. So it's not like, I don't know, going to school where there's everyone, like it's not something very common that you can just talk to your neighbor and say, hey, where did you go? So I think, Mark, what we talk about today will be very helpful to people. Give them a bit of a starting point. Step one, what do you got to think of? And then how do you make the dream a reality? How are you, Mark?
And who better to give the advice than commercial number one in the country, commercial agent Michael Bergio. Congratulations again.
Thank you. And the principal, Mark Novak, DY Agency of the Year from Rate My Agent. So we've got two really good aspects to give you advice from. So Mark, let's start with you from more of the personal side of owning your business, knowing when to take it. And when do you think the time is right, or is there a never time right? But I'm sure you get started. When should you start thinking about it? Is it something that you get your own shop before you need it? Or maybe after you know you needed it, I could have done this a month ago, but things went well. Like, take us through that, and then we can go through that, maybe the technical side.
Look, I think the growing pain in your business, Verge, of you've got a business and you just know that it is really holding you back more and more and more to almost to a critical point where you're going, you know what, I just know this is the right move in my gut. I just know if I get a commercial premises, my business is going to expand. I just know my customers are going to love it. I just know if you've got any staff, they're going to love it. I just know that it's a growing pain in my business. So I think you've got to be ready to take that step, but it's almost going to make its decision for you to go into a new premises, and you've got to go, right, now I'm going to go hunting.
It's true. You got to be honest with yourself as well. Like, you don't want to, say you lose business and that's because maybe you couldn't service them quick enough because you're so busy. You don't want to make other excuses to why you didn't get that business. You want to be like, well, maybe if I had the bigger premise, if I had my own premises, I would have a commercial address. I think people underestimate that, having a pit, like for Northern Beaches, having a Pittwater Road address or a Winbourne address. A lot of people will rent a desk in a co-working space, so they got a business address rather than a residential address. I know that's a big decision a lot of people make, having staff. So as Luke just says, have a crack. So you will know. And I think a lot of people, they don't regret doing it too soon. They regret not doing it soon enough, is probably some good advice there. But so moving from your garage or your home office, I think you've got to decide where you want to move to getting a shop, where maybe do a bit of a survey of your clientele, how it works. Because I think the worst thing some people do, Mark, when they call me, they're like, I'm looking for a premises and I can go sort of anywhere. And and it's like, well, how big? And they're like, I don't know, it's not that big, or they don't know a specific area they want to go in and how big they need. They're like, oh, I may have 5 or 20 staff. It's like, well, you've got to have a bit of a blueprint in your mind of, let's say, maybe use a simple one like a cafe. It's like, are you a cafe for takeout, or are you going to be seat, or maybe not, yes, or seating in. How much room do you need for a kitchen? How much room do you need for waiting area, seating area? Like, you need to have that ready of your model. So, because put it this way, Mark, everyone, the more information you give the real estate agent, like, I want to be in DY. I need 60 square meters. I can go up to 80. I've got a budget of 45 grand. I need to be there but in 2 months, but I can wait 3. Like, the more information you know and you give the agent, the easier, the smoother the process will be, rather than think of it like it's like someone for residential going, I want to buy an apartment, and the agent's like, where? And you're like, Sydney. It's like, well, there's 1,000 suburbs. Where? What's your budget? I don't know. It's just like you've got to be detailed, and you've really got to have that honest look at your own business and know what figures you do. I think because a lot of people go into it a little bit blind. They're just like wing it and just make money. So, like, not even make money. Service clients make the product. And they don't necessarily
also growth. I think growth is really important, guys. Be realistic with your growth, because it can be very expensive to move your business twice within a couple of years. So I think that sometimes if at the moment rents on commercial are actually really competitive, it's actually a great time if you're going to business to secure a commercial premises, particularly in retail. You may have thought to yourself, I don't really know if I need shop front, but sometimes shop fronts now are quite compelling, quite cheap, so you may go, heck, I'll just take it anyway. But if your business does potentially grow quickly, or could grow quickly, or has grown quickly, it may be an idea to take a little bit more than you need. Even subletting, Michael, like, getting something that's got that potential for scope to grow is very important, guys. Moving your business, you lose a lot of money. Because it costs you time and it's disruption to your business. So as soon as you've moved that business, make sure you've got enough room for later if it's growing that well.
That's so true as well. Like, you may want to save that $100 a week, but in a year you're moving again and it may cost 10 or 15 grand. So you may as well. But I think that's key. If you can get a space that you can sublease or rent a desk out to try and cover it and then grow into it is big. And of course it's hard. You don't have years of experience or the track record in the business to budget it, but you need to factor in growth and how you can make that work. And Miles, maybe shop. You
just mentioned rent a desk out, so that is an opportunity for people. Yeah. So 100%. you may only need, and what does that involve?
Yeah, so you may be doing an office fit out. You have, let's say you got 8 staff and you could get a property that houses 9, but you go, I may want to grow. So let's get somewhere that I can have 20 staff. And then I will sublease 3 or 4 of the desks out to other people who may be in the same complex, or a friend of mine who works from home who wants to have an area to work in. And then when my business grows in a year or 2, then I've already got the places to go, and I don't have to do a new fit out. I don't have to look. I don't have to change the mailing address on things. Like, it just have it all set up. So and that's a good way to do it. And it can get you really thinking, because then you may incorporate other businesses that help your business as well, not just as a rental income. Like, you may be a town planner and you can bring an architect in or something like that. So start thinking that way as well, because you're right, that disruption does cost money.
And the big thing is you're controlling the lease. So you may think, well, what's the benefit of me just like taking your bigger premises and getting in a couple of people to share on the rent? The thing is, you are the leasee. You are running that head lease. So that then means that if you need to grow your business, then those guys are effectively only paying for a short-term lease that they've got. So you can ask them to go in the event of your business needing to grow into it. Super important.
Yeah. And Miles made a great question. Shopfront versus commercial suites. What's the difference in price, pros and cons? Mark touched on just previously that retail is really good at the moment. And to put that in perspective, retail, let's say Main Road, used to be 700 to 1,000 a square metre, compared to, say, office, which was high-quality office, would be 450 a square metre. We're seeing retail at 500 to 700 a square meter, and office say 3 to 4. So you may look at now you're getting a discount on retail and your business. I think you've got to look at your business and go, do you have many clients coming to the property? Because it can all, and do you need, and that is a bit more exposure. Like exposure can never hurt, because I find a lot of people are very quick to dismiss the exposure a shopfront gives their business. You can't
Real estate's a perfect example.
Exactly right. So it's either you could spend maybe $100 extra a week on a shop front, have potentially more convenient parking, access, availability, or you got to do online marketing. So online marketing. So it works either way. What's your thoughts with that, with Real Estate Mark? Because I know a couple other agencies chose to go to a first floor, once come back. What was your thought then and now? It's just cutting out a bit. Anyway, is he back? Mark?
I think that real estate, like you said, is a perfect one. We often have a massive arm wrestle about do you need to be and I know Anmal's not in a shop front, and we have some of our agents in our area not in a shop front, and then we've got other agents that are in a shop front. And I think there's no wrong or right. You've got to sit well with you and your business, but with real estate, for example, we got 70,000 cars going past our office a day, so we're buying eyeballs. We're a very localized business, so those local eyeballs are very, very important. So I think if you're considering moving your business and growing your business, guys, consider if you do want to buy those eyeballs, if you do need to buy those eyeballs, because they're going to be going past your shop front every day. Super, super important. For us in real estate, it's a free hit.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, yay and nay. Obviously, it's free because it's set up, but it's not because of the rent compared to, say, an office. So just like a property marketing, it's do I put a signboard up? Do I do a letterbox drop? Do I do 1,000 database calls? Let's say you got the budget for one. Like you pick what you may save on a letterbox drop, but do a bigger signboard. And I think it's like with any business. You got to remember that energy's got to go somewhere if you want to do well. Some people may just go to an office, but they're not doing additional marketing elsewhere so people know where they are. Or some people will go to the shop front and feel like they can do less other marketing because they've got the shop front. So I know you always love talking about that transfer of energy with economy, property, like anything. And I think your business location is one of them. So if you're moving from the home office, you need to weigh that up. Are you happy to be first floor with no exposure? Because you may have a booming Instagram business, social media business, and you can do that. You'd rather do that. Or do you need a bit more attention? You may not have the biggest social media presence yet, and you want to get between people's eyeballs. So a shop at a traffic lights, even though it costs you more, allows people to look over and go, hey, what's their business? And then they Google it. You know what I mean? So you've just got to work out what's for you.
Couple of quick questions. You're new. How much bond do you need to put down for a new premises?
Generally 3 months bond.
3 months. Oh, so that's going to be 3 months of the month. 3 months of the rent has to be paid up front in addition to the rent.
In addition
for people
to
that are taking your premises.
So it's about 5 months of rent needs to be paid up front. 1 or 2 months for a holding deposit, which will go to your rent, and then 3 months for a bond. So it costs you 5 months.
What sort of term? What's the minimum term I can get? So I'm going to be taking this new premises. Do I take 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 6 months? How long are the tenures that are available?
generally 1 year is probably a lot of the time the minimum, but you need to factor in your setup cost. If you have quite a minimal setup cost, then you're okay with a 1 year lease, because if you're spending 30 grand, let's say you're doing a restaurant, you're spending 50 grand or 100 grand. If you're spending 100 grand for a fit out, you don't want to run the risk of potentially being kicked out after 1 year. So you got to balance that up as well. So I think smaller your setup cost, the shorter the lease. But some people have a small setup cost, but they take a long lease because they know their business. But we're talking about new people here. The bigger the setup cost, as much as you may want a shorter lease, because if it doesn't go right, you're not locked in. Be very weary of that you spend a fortune and 2 years you could be gone. But there is something to help that. It's called an option agreement. So you can take a short lease, like a 2 year lease, and have an option for 3 years. So if the first 2 years goes well, you can say yes, extend for 3 years automatically, but you have a small window to do that. You've got generally...
And the owner can't say no if you've got an option.
In that window. So in a 12-month period, you'll have generally 3 months to answer yes or no. If you miss that, free for all. The owner could double your rent, even though you had the option. I think that's a wrap.
And that is moving your business. That's it. That is moving your business into a new premises. If you're a brand new business from home, the do's, the don'ts, the uglies, the A, B, C's, and D's of it all. Anything we missed?
Probably a lot, but I think that covers a lot of it. The mindset, a little bit of the technical side of it. But feel free to reach out. Happy to take calls, answer questions about that. Commercial is very difficult compared to residential. Not many people have done it. There's not a lot of data online. It's just, so reach out if you need. Happy to help.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Love you guys. See ya, mate.